I'm going to be sharing with you a 7-day protocol for you to lose up to 10 pounds in the next week following these keto egg rules.
What happens if you just eat eggs for 7 days, and should you do it? Hi, I'm Dr. Eric Westman, and welcome to my channel where I review and debunk nutritional information online. In this video, we're going to hear about how to do a properly formulated, kind of complicated egg fast, and be sure to wait till the end where you hear my final thoughts. Before we dive into today's video, I want to invite you to take keto nutritionist Amy Berger's free masterclass, The Secrets to Breaking Keto Fat Loss Stalls. If you're doing all the right things but stubborn weight still won't budge, then Amy's masterclass is for you. See the link in the description to sign up.
You've lost some weight, but you still have the last 10 pounds to go, the last mile. That's the hardest weight to burn. This protocol works really effectively for getting off those last 10 pounds. It's also for the person who has an upcoming event, a wedding, an event that you want to look lean and you want to drop 10 pounds in a week. This will do it for you. And lastly, this is also for the person who has fallen off track with their diet and nutrition and want to get back on track to kickstart their metabolism and burn fat. For everyone watching and listening, stay tuned because I'm going to give you the 5-step protocol for you to burn fat with a keto egg fast.
Well, of course, always consider the source. And I do know Ben Azadi. He spoke at a conference, I believe it was Salt Lake City, Keto Salt Lake. And I overlapped with him there and got to meet him. And I have to say, he's an influencer that has his own method and a lot of followers who follow it and can be healthy and helped a lot of people. This is a classic example, though, of how you can make something complicated based on some ideas that may or may not be totally worth doing, and maybe not as scientific as others. So I try to focus on the basic elements that are super important, and I don't focus on making it so complicated that it's really hard to do. There's a balance between making it easy to do and sustainable and hard to do yet effective. And here, if you're going to do something for 7 days, here are the rules that Ben has come up with.
The first is to consume 14 eggs every single day. Yes, you're going to be consuming the eggs with the yolk. The yolk is actually where most of the nutrients lie. And the reason I chose 14 eggs for you per day is because 14 eggs equal 77 grams of protein, 65 grams of fat, with very minimal carbohydrates, less than 7 grams of carbs. What this is going to do, the protein is going to help preserve lean muscle mass, keep you satiated and full. The fat will allow you to feel satiated and full. And the fact that we're lowering carbs, it'll lower inflammation by lowering insulin and allowing your body to make a metabolic switch to tap into stored body fat. Insulin is a key hormone we want to lower in order to achieve the 10 pounds of fat loss in the next 7 days.
Well, and I like the teaching here, and that's the egg fast, meaning all you have is eggs. It's not a total fast. A total fast is where you don't eat anything. An intermittent fast might be once a day. That's a 24-hour fast, or a 18-6, where you only eat among 6 hours of the day. But so the biology, physiology is pretty solid. You cut the carbs down with whatever food, the blood glucose goes down, the insulin goes down. And here, the protein source, protein and fat source, is just eggs. Well, I teach in my class that one of the best things you can eat is eggs. Eggs can be made into lots of very nutritious meals, and eggs actually can make an entire chicken. If you think about it, you can make an entire chicken out of an egg. That's what it does once it's fertilized. So it has all of the nutrients needed to make a mammal. One of the theoretical downsides of just eggs is it doesn't have much vitamin C. And so you might not want to just eat eggs for a super long period of time. For a week, no big deal. In fact, you could not eat anything for a week and be just fine in terms of vitamin C. So here we're going to see what someone creates as a kind of a perfect model of what to do on an egg fast when it seems like you could just eat eggs without any other rule and actually have it work.
Your second step is to cook your eggs in grass-fed ghee. Research on grass-fed ghee suggests it can be beneficial for managing insulin resistance, particularly due to its rich content in butyrate, which is a short-chain fatty acid. Butyrate has been shown to improve, regulate insulin sensitivity, insulin levels, inflammation. Both are crucial for fat loss. Studies in animal models have demonstrated that butyrate can prevent and reverse diet-induced insulin resistance, and the current evidence on humans is very promising. In human studies, ghee made from grass-fed butter is rich in conjugated linoleic acid, CLA. CLA has been associated with improvements in your cholesterol panel, insulin sensitivity, and weight loss. Consuming moderate amounts of ghee may support natural insulin secretion and healthy blood sugar levels. So when you cook your eggs, those 14 eggs per day, you're going to cook them in grass-fed ghee. Combination of the eggs with the yolk, the nutrients in the yolk, and the nutrients in the grass-fed ghee are a powerhouse to lower inflammation, lower insulin, and help you burn fat. The third step in your protocol is to cook the eggs as gently as possible. Soft scramble, poaching, or soft-boiled eggs are the best way to cook it. So many people make the mistake when they cook eggs to overly cook them. They do a hard-boiled egg or overly scrambling them. Not overcooking your eggs helps to preserve their nutrients and prevents the oxidation of the beneficial fats and proteins. Here's what happens when you cook it the right way. You retain protein quality. When you overcook your eggs, this can cause the proteins to become denatured, reducing their digestibility and bioavailability. Light cooking helps to keep the proteins intact for optimal absorption. The yolk of the eggs contain healthy fats, particularly omega-3 fatty acids. Overcooking them can oxidize these fats, which may lead to the formation of harmful compounds. Eggs with the yolk are rich in antioxidants like lutein, zeaxanthin, which support eye health. Overcooking the eggs may reduce these antioxidants found in the yolk. Eggs do contain cholesterol. When you overcook them, especially at high temperatures like frying eggs, it can oxidize the cholesterol, potentially leading to the formation of harmful cholesterol oxidation products, which have been linked to cardiovascular disease when you damage the egg cholesterol.
Well, so here's where it's just getting a little too complicated. Does it really matter how you cook the eggs? Do you have to use ghee, really? So now we're asking someone perhaps to do something that they don't have ghee around. And then I'm now sort of sinking in, I need to eat 14 eggs a day? Really? I don't know that I could possibly do that. Of course, my hunger is already pretty suppressed by not eating many carbs. So, but he's using a macro formulation, again, kind of a one-size-fits-all sort of thing. And I guess 14 eggs would be one-size-fit-all. But you know, you don't have to use ghee, and you don't have to worry about how you cook the eggs, especially if it's just for a 7-day period. I suppose over a long period of time, you'd want to make those changes. But so what he's trying to do is throw in everything that is known about how to enhance a keto diet other than it being low in carbs. Let's switch the type of fat sources, is, you know, trying to get the most you can out of every bite. Well, that's a reasonable way to do it, but it doesn't seem entirely necessary to me.
The fourth step is to get the right type of eggs. Not all eggs are created equal. There's a lot of confusing marketing terms out there when it comes to purchasing your eggs. We see terms such as organic, free range, pasture range.
Well, so again, I'm not so sure. What is the incremental benefit of having that fancy egg over just an egg? And no one really knows. If it makes you feel better about not having antibiotics and not having the same type of fatty acid profile and that one egg might have eating a certain way than another, again, I'm not sure the incremental benefit is very high. The fact that you're not eating carbs overwhelms the little fine-tuning here, I think. A lot of people where I live, you're able to have eggs, you're able to have chickens, have your own eggs, and so you can be in charge even of what your eggs eat and know where they come from. And people who have their own eggs say they're great. On the other hand, if someone is cash strapped and can't afford, can't find those kinds of things, I tell them to eat the cheapest eggs they can find at the store.
The fifth step in your protocol is to pair your egg diet with intermittent fasting. One of the most comprehensive and highlighted studies ever published on intermittent fasting was in the New England Journal of Medicine in December of 2019. The authors reviewed more than 85 studies, and they suggested that intermittent fasting should be used as the first line of treatment for diabetes, obesity, cancer, neurodegenerative brain conditions, and cardiovascular disease.
I'm still trying to figure out if I can eat 14 eggs, even if it's in 2 different meals. So fasting, 24-hour fasting would be 1 meal a day. A 6-hour window, you could have breakfast and dinner, for example. And I'm just finding why not just eat eggs? And you know, in a protocol like this, it certainly can work, and I think it's pretty reasonable. The only time I'd worry, if you're a patient of mine, if you're on diabetes medicine, high blood pressure medicine, you want to be very careful, especially if you're going from a carb-heavy diet to doing an egg fast. You want to watch your blood sugar, your blood pressure, because that's going to come down. You're getting the full effects of a low-carb keto diet on this egg fast. So this is a subtype of a low-carb keto diet, even though eggs are the only thing you're eating, kind of like a carnivore diet. If meat is the only thing you're eating, it's a subset of a low-carb keto diet with this kind of metabolism. I thought that was a great summary of all of the benefits cellularly that you see when you cut carbs out. That's what keto is.
Next question is this: 14 eggs a day is a lot of cholesterol and saturated fats. Should I be worried about that? Well, not really, because number one, when you're cooking the eggs the right way, as I explained, and getting quality eggs, the cholesterol and the saturated fat in the eggs actually prevent heart disease. I don't know if you knew this, but the total cholesterol in your lab report is absolutely meaningless. More people die from heart disease with normal to low cholesterol than with high cholesterol. Cholesterol is important for the brain, for your sex hormones, for vitamin D production. It's important to burn fat. It's important to feel incredible. So yeah, you're gonna be eating cholesterol and saturated fat, and that's actually a good thing. Saturated fats are the building blocks of your cells. Your cells are made up of protein, saturated fat, and cholesterol. And when you give it the building blocks, it lowers inflammation and allows your fat-burning hormones to get into the cell and do the job of...
I think that's a great explanation of why you don't fear the cholesterol and saturated fat in the food. Another way to say it is your body burns the fat now that you eat, whereas before, if you're eating carbs, it doesn't burn the fat and the fat just keeps slogging around in the bloodstream. But that's a great way to say it.
The next question is this: are raw eggs safe to eat? I mentioned the more you cook an egg, the less nutrients it has. So therefore you would think that consuming raw eggs is the best because it preserves the highest quality of that egg, all the nutrients, and you get all that, and it's really bioavailable. That is true. However, you want to be really careful with the sourcing of your eggs. If you could find organic pasture-raised eggs from a local farmer, I've seen people do it raw. Now, I'm not giving you permission to do that. This is not medical advice, but I have seen some of my students do it raw. They simply just take a shot of eggs. Personally, I do not do that. I cook my eggs either soft-boiled or soft scrambled in the grass-fed ghee, just because, I don't know, I prefer it that way. It tastes better, and I'm not getting my eggs from an organic local farmer. I'm getting it from Vital Farms, and I do believe they have healthy eggs, but I'm still not 100% sure I want to have it raw. So you can, if you choose that route, you'll get the most nutrients. Just make sure it's a really good, healthy chicken that you're getting the eggs from.
Well, these are really good questions and really good answers, I think. He's not actually saying to do anything real extreme. Well, so a low-carb diet lowers the blood glucose, lowers the insulin, and gets all of these benefits. An egg fast is a version of a low-carb diet. If you do it for 7 days, compared to a lot of things that people do, like not eating anything, or the grapefruit diet, or the whatever 7-day or even 30-day protocol some churches do. This seems very reasonable, very nutritious, and if you do it for 7 days, I think it doesn't have to be this complicated. You don't have to be so super strict about where the eggs come from and all the other things that he says. But if you can, why not do that? And you may learn some practices to continue on. But I think an egg fast has been around a long time. People have talked about it, and especially if it's just a short-term thing, go for it. If you like this video, please like, subscribe. If you're watching a lot of these, press subscribe. We really appreciate that. And then watch for new content on Wednesdays and Fridays. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. And check out adaptyourlifeacademy.com.